Well, welcome back to the channel, viewers. You're with Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me. It's pretty bright here, isn't it? Oh well, that's the way it is. Let's see if we can... Okay, we'll go with that. We're talking about covert emotional incest, the examples from ancient biblical times. I think it's important so that people realise this just isn't a modern day thing. It's been around for centuries, and it's not like you're trying to call people out or stuff like that. You're just trying to protect yourself and possibly the people that are in it. A lot of people don't know what it is or how they got there or any of this, and it's up to them if they want to learn about it or not and help themselves and save themselves from the curse of it. But if we quickly glance back, Isaac he was old and his discernment was failing, his mind was failing. This isn't uncommon for people that get old, as you know yourselves. And he wanted to bless the elder son, Esau. The mother overheard the conversation. And this is interesting, like how much of this was going on between the mother and the golden child against the father and the scapegoat. And this can wear at people, okay? This can really just smash away at you. And she mimicked, and this is what these sinful nature people do. They're under the power of their sinful nature. She mimicked what the father asked the older son to do in a way in which the younger son was concerned that he would be cursed. Because the younger son said this when his mother asked him to do what she wanted him to do. The younger son was concerned that he was going to be cursed. And he says this, Jacob answered his mother Rebekah, saying, "Look, my brother Esau is a hairy man. He can see the deception, but I am smooth-skinned." Okay, so you've got the masculine and the feminine. What if my father touches me? Then I would be revealed to him as a what? Deceiver. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, he was deceptive all along. This guy was deluded. He was a schemer. He was taught this from his mother. And this is where we let a lot of mothers off. If you want to work out the parents, look at the children, usually look at the mother. And he goes, if I get seen to be a deceiver, which I am, it will bring upon him a curse rather than a blessing. So these people were aware of curses. But this is how far these covert emotional incestual mothers will go. And a few of you women that have been involved with these golden child sons, the sons that are under the spell of their mothers, you would have seen this. The mother will go so far as saying, "Your curse be on me, my son." Full abandonment of self-preservation, self-welfare, to accomplish the deception of her son. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, I've had these mothers, modern day mothers, no different to this biblical example, allow their sons to try and curse me characteristically and personally through a deception or a delusion in their minds, because they're being grandized and pedestalized and they're deceived by their own ideal of themselves. And the mother's gone along with it. Look, this is actually just going along with evil. And that's what covert emotional incest does. It promotes and institutes and schemes for evil. And it's evil against the relationship the mother or the son is in, because neither of them had any regard for the brother or the father They only had regard for what they were going to get themselves. And this woman, and I've seen this with these single mothers. You'll say to them, oh, please, can we just come to our senses here and understand that this ain't right? And they'll let the curse of their delusion fall upon their relationship to a point where they lose it, and you'll see them trying to fight their way out of the deception, hoping that you'll just tolerate it. And they curse themselves, and they fall back to their covert emotional incestual relationship. They go so far as saying, okay, I'll wear this even if it curses me for the rest of my life. And you'll see them aging, and they're on substances, and they're trying to drown out they think it's pain and things. A lot of them, say they got clinical problems, but they're just trying to cover the curses that they've put themselves under from wrong choices. And the things that come with those curses, like just physical ailments and mental health issues. They curse themselves for their children in the wrong way, all under the guise of deception, and nobody ends up with anything. And if you come in, and this is against people that are like in the family. Can you imagine coming in as meeting this mother once she's single? With all this goings on, they're already cursed. You're coming in under that curse. You don't even know. Guess what's going to happen? That curse is going to come upon you. And this is all she says. Don't obey the Father. Just obey my voice and go out and get them for me. So Jacob went out, got 2 goats and brought them to his mother. Right? Mummy's boy. Didn't care about what was going to happen to, his relatives and that. Who made the tasty food for his father, which his father loved. You see, women are cunning. They know how to get your influence. Okay, and I've spoken about be careful of the food that these women bring, because they're bringing it to keep your mind on them while they go and live their lives, emotional part of their lives, with these children. And you're not involved. So nothing, you're just a donor, a masculine donor. And Rebecca took the finest clothes in the house that belonged to her older son Esau. See? Oh, goodness. And she put them on her younger son Jacob. Oh, God. This is favoritism you would not believe. Now, Esau was obviously the masculine of the two. She's caused Jacob to be feminine. She's femininized Jacob. She's stealing the masculinity, as it were, by proponent, by the clothes and that, to disguise this son, to be able to deceive his father. And she also put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. Right? And this speaks of bondage. She's got the son doing the work, her work with his hands, and she's got the son bound, right, with smooth influence, and there's emotional incest there. The smooth part of his neck. That's not like an ox with its bridle or a horse with its bridle. This is a different form of bondage, and it's working, this deception and curse. And then she handed her son Jacob the tasty food and bread she had made. And this is what she said. Well, Jacob went to his father and said, "My father." "Here I am," he answered. which one are you, my son? And this is how far the delusion will go. Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. They will blatantly lie. And the women do this as well. I want to be in a permanent relationship with you. I want you to be my source. But who's Jacob doing this for? He's doing it for his mother, for the will of his mother. And guess what these mothers do? They do the will of their sons. Because this ain't the will of the father. I have done as you have told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may bless me. And this is where the men fail. They don't listen to their intuition. But Isaac asked his son, how did you ever find it so quickly, my son? Because the Lord your God brought it to me, he replied. And these people, ladies and gentlemen, will disguise themselves under the Christian banner. Look, even if somebody says they're a Christian, don't believe it. Don't believe it. You've got to see the fruit. Right? And if you were a fly on the wall watching this, you'll be saying to yourself, this is so far away from the Lord's will. It's incredible. But they will use the name of the Lord to fulfill their evil and their curse. Then Isaac said to Jacob, please come closer so I can touch you, my son. Are you really my son Esau or not? He didn't follow his gut. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're in doubt, follow your gut. Follow your gut. I know it's hard. Don't let your loyalty and faithfulness blind you. So Jacob came close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Now, why were the hands the hands? Now, the father recognized the voice. Okay? That's discernment. But he was blindsided by the mother's plot to put the wool on the hands of Jacob to make him appear as Esau. And Isaac did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau. And on that small discretion, right, he heard the voice. He heard the voice. On that small discretion, he blessed Jacob. And again he asked, are you really my son Esau? But this was after he blessed him. And he replied, I am. Serve me, said Isaac, and let me eat some of my son's game, so that I may bless you. So he hasn't given out the inheritable blessing. He's just blessed him as coming by. So Jacob brought it to him, and he ate. Now, who made the food? The mother. Who's behind all this? The mother. And then he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, please come near and kiss me, my son. Now, this is what happens this is the hard part, because you're trying to build a relationship with these covert emotional incestual people. And I believe they're honestly trying to build a relationship with you, and you're eating and drinking and you're sharing and you're getting it. But the emotional connection's not there, because guess who is driving this? The mother. Guess who he's interested in pleasing? Not the father. He's only fooling the father, and this is what these people do to you. They're only fooling you. Their emotional connections with the covert emotional incestual person, the mother. He's just using the father to get what he wants. And this is what these people do. I know it sounds terrible, I know it sounds horrible, but it's true. Because they don't resolve anything. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Please come near and kiss me, my son." So he came near and kissed him. When Isaac smelled his clothing, he blessed him and said, and just let me say, that was a cultural thing. I think it's still cultural in the Middle East. When Isaac smelled his clothing, he blessed him and said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field that the Lord has blessed. And may God give to you the dew of the heaven and the richness of the earth, and abundance of grain and new wine. May peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. May you be the master of your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." As soon as Isaac had finished blessing him, and Jacob had left his father's presence, and this is what happens, he's got what he's taken the money and run. His brother Esau returned from the hunt. He too made tasty food. Now it doesn't say who cooked it. Brought it to his father and said to him, "My father, sit up and eat of your son's game, so that you may bless me." But his father Isaac replied, "Who are you?" He said, "I am Esau, your firstborn son." He answered. Isaac began to tremble violently and said, "Who is it then, who hunted the game and brought it to me, before you came in? I ate it all and blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." When Esau heard his father's words, he let out a loud and bitter cry. Now, this is the consequence of it upon you people that are with these covert emotional people, incestual people. You're robbed of the direction you were supposed to go in. You undermine the person that's supposed to be blessed, and you leave bitterness and brokenness of mind and heart. And said to his father, "Bless me too, O my father." Isaac replied, "Your brother came in deceitfully and took your blessing." And guys, this is what I sensed was happening in my covert emotional incestual relationships. I just felt like the woman was coming over to visit with all good intention. There really wasn't going to be a future that was going to be built upon a life with me and her. I was mutually sharing in a relationship that was built on alongside of her with the children, me being the lesser and them being the greater, at my own expense. At my expense. I was just donating my life to somebody, and they were sharing part of theirs, so that they could live out their lives with their children. And that's not what a relationship's about. You don't want to take your mother away from their children or interfere with any of that, but that wasn't the substance. When the children hate you and the mother ain't dealing with it, and it's all built on delusion, not who you really are, you're being treated deceitfully. Esau declared, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me twice." But has he not cheated me twice? He took my birthright, and now he has taken my blessing. Then he asked, "Haven't you saved a blessing for me?" But Isaac answered Esau, "Look, I have made him your master and given him all his relatives as servants. I have sustained him with grain and new wine. What is left that I can do for you, my son?" See, this is a regret. It leaves you in horrible, filthy, rotten regret. You waste your life. It takes and steals everything from you. Because the person that you're sharing your life with isn't invested in you. They're deceiving you and they're cursing you. You're just a donor. You're a donor if you're a girl to the son. You're a donor if you're the man to the mother. They don't care who they ransack, harm, hurt, curse, deceive. Look at your situation with that person. Who are they closest to? It's not you. It's either the children or the children with the parent. His father Isaac answered him. Let's look at this, because this is where you will end up. Behold, your dwelling place shall be away from the riches of the land. Richness of the land, right? You lose the richness of what life should be because the relationship's emotionally starved. Away from the dew of heaven above, right? The spiritual aspect of your life just doesn't get watered. You shall live by the sword. It brings enmity. And you serve by the sword and serve your brother. You're serving somebody else's purpose. But when you rebel, you will tear his yoke from his neck. And when you come up against these people, and it's not up until you stand up against these people, which is you're doing them a favor, because you're showing them the yoke that is around their neck. And whether they want to release it or not is completely up to them. And Esau held a grudge against Jacob, and this is what happened to me. This is where I had to end it. I thought, you know what, I'm not a resentful, bitter person that holds grudges. But because these matters have been taken so long to unresolve, people hating me and discriminating against me, and I couldn't even sleep in my partner's bed. She didn't even realise what that felt like. I just thought, I'm supposed to be a Christian. I'm supposed to... Listen to what I'm saying. This is the curse of it. My heart is towards the best of people. I'm dealing with people that couldn't care less about where I'm at or how I feel. She's got no concept of this. I'm now holding grudges, which I told her I don't care anymore if we work this out or not. And the blessing that I was supposed to be walking in with my partner was shared with her children. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, and then I will kill my brother Jacob. Which is not the attitude you want to have. And if you're getting to the stage where you've got resentment, bitterness, hostility, confusion, emptiness, foggy mind, sore mind, you've got no other way of trying to work all this out. This is what covert emotional incest does to you. It oppresses you. It brings depression, oppression, depression, all the impressions. I'm telling you, it doesn't leave a very good impression, I can tell you that, of anyone or for anyone. If you don't understand what it is, you can become a total, absolute, irreparable wreck. And the days of mourning for my father are at hand. When the words of her older son Esau were relayed to Rebekah, right, now get this, this is the troublemaker here. You thought Jezebel was bad. Ladies and gentlemen, please. No, really, as a biblical, I don't know what you want to call me, I've got a doctorate in it, as a biblical discerner of evil and good, if this woman ain't worse than Jezebel, something's wrong. I think she's worse. She sent for her younger son Jacob and told him, look, your brother Esau is consoling himself by plotting to kill you. Any wonder? That's why you got to get away from these covert emotional incestual people, because you become, your peace gets taken away from you. It wears at you so badly. Your peace gets taken away from you, and you just want to harm people. So now, my son, obey my voice and flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. And these people are cowards, ladies and gentlemen. These people are cowards. Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of these Hittite women. So she despised her husband. If Jacob takes a Hittite wife from among them, what good is my life? And I think the next time you hear of Rebekah, it's not good news. But we'll take that up in the next video. I've gone way too long. Covert emotional incest, biblical example of it, ancient biblical example. It's not a new thing, guys. Please understand how evil and harmful and cursed and deceptive it is. It robs you. It siphons the life out of your mind and your spirit. And your head just swims, wondering what's going on, what's happening to me, why can't I get the emotional input that I need from my partner? Because it's being spent, it's being shared between parent and child, from the harm and the damage that's being done by the abuse of the partners that they've had. And the safest place is with parent and child. Outsiders are just a source of fuel, a source of soul and spirit, masculinity and femininity, whatever the need is. But that's all. They will not stand for you. They will not stand with you. They will stand with the thoughts and beliefs of the covert emotional incestual relationship. I pray for you. I ask you to accept what I've told you. If you're in this situation, you need to accept it and know there's no way of fixing it. I've never seen anyone fix or stop it yet. You'll see them try, but they won't. And once it's exposed and you call it as something that you just can't tolerate anymore, they disappear. You don't hear from them again. They don't know how to fix anything or resolve anything. And they fall back to where they're comfortable, and that's within their covert emotional incest. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now.